Right.
And it looks like possibly now we have it coming to a reality,
Right.
having a Midwest regional tournament right here in Iowa.
Yeah. Well,
Can you share a little bit about that with me?
Sure, and I came to you, I don't know, probably 2.5 years ago and said, hey, I want to create a big tournament in the central part of Iowa that gives special consideration for Iowa kids. And I felt like there wasn't any ranked kids in our state for me to choose from. They weren't getting the kind of exposure they needed. They weren't getting the right kind of information, things that you're doing right now to help them understand, what I should be playing in. So basically what we did, I got with another former Iowa Hawkeye, Kevin Johnson, and he's been running the Texas Junior Golf Tour down in Texas, and some other people around Des Moines, and brought on some other people at Wakanda, and we've secured Wakanda for this Midwest Junior Championship. And what this is an individual invitational. So it's not associated with the AJGA or any of those, but it will be inviting the top 500 kids in the country to come and play at Wakanda here in Des Moines, with the stipulation that there will be a certain percentage of kids that have to come from Iowa in this tournament. Now what makes that special is that these kids that tell me that they can't do this and they can't go here, and well, if you can get to Des Moines and you're a good enough player within your area, you should be able to secure yourself an invite. And you have to be the best player in your area. I'm not going to lie. This is going to be for the best players in Iowa, and
Boys and girls?
Boys and girls. And it'll get bigger as we grow and people get the word. We're looking for title sponsors as we speak, and guys that we could put their names on this. But the Midwest Junior Championship's about giving kids in the Midwest an opportunity to play against maybe some other kids that are coming from 6-8 different states around us, right in the heart of Des Moines, where our biggest population is for Iowa, and giving our kids in Iowa an opportunity to go head to head with some of the best players in the country, and obviously in the Midwest.
You know that I've always had this passion for juniors, and one of the things that I've done in the last 24 hours, I've talked with the head of the Iowa Golf Association, Bill Dickens, and Noel is going to be facilitating the tournaments with the Iowa Women's Golf Association and the Iowa Women's Junior,
Right.
and Tess from our Iowa PGA office down at Riverside. And the one thing that now with you, it's the first time I'm going to ask you, I'm asking the public to come out and volunteer.
Right.
And these four organizations, USGA, IGA, Women's Golf Association, and PGA,
Sure.
and Iowa PGA, we're all together.
Right.
Now, do you need any volunteers?
Of course we do. I think what makes a great event is atmosphere. You only create atmosphere if you've got more than just parents out walking around with these kids. You got to have people that are interested. I think, again, when you start putting the tag best players in the state of Iowa, best players from around the Midwest, these kids are going to be the next future Hawkeye Cyclones, the different schools, even the Kansas, all the local Big 12 schools, Big 10 schools, we're all recruiting the same players. We're recruiting the top 5 players out of Iowa. I'm recruiting the top 5 players out of Nebraska. I'm recruiting the top 5 players out of Missouri, all around us, because those people somewhat have a tie to our state. Now, this junior tournament and the volunteers that may come out and help with this thing are going to see great golf. Junior golf has come a long ways, Mark.
A long way.
These kids, I'm telling you, some of the best players, they're sponsored by Titleist. They're sponsored by Nike. These kids have free golf clubs. They actually get less stuff when they get to college golf, personally, because they have to give it to the universities, and the universities provide, than they do when they're a junior player. If you're a top junior player, some of these kids they're fast-tracked right into these places. And I think one of the main things for having this tournament in Des Moines was that is absolutely the epicenter of some great golf courses. Whether it's Wakanda or Des Moines Golf or Glen Oaks or Players Club. There's some awesome golf courses over there that we have not displayed around the country, maybe ever. And there was the Western Junior that was played at Wakanda 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
One time. And we haven't had a ton of great players come out of Iowa. Everyone knows who Zach Johnson is, but one guy. We have Guy Borelsi. You can name some older guys that are playing on the senior tour and stuff, but we need to develop these guys earlier so we can get them into major colleges so they can go on and be famous and bring more notoriety to the state of Iowa, because if Zach Johnson's the only person we can put out there, we're not doing a very good job.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Even though he's a great person to have as our ambassador, but we need more. So.
Well, I totally agree with that. And one of the factors too that we haven't touched upon yet is in reading over Hawkeye material, since you've come on board, you've had a number of academic All-Americans. And you've had a number, probably 14 Big Ten All-Academic players. And this year you'll have a couple first team All-American or all Big Ten players, a couple on the second team possibly. And the season isn't over yet.
Right.
So in this collegiate world that we're dealing with, do grades matter to you?
Well, we've averaged about 4 all Big Ten academic kids per year. And 4 per year off of a team of 9 is pretty strong, and you're looking at comparing against the other Big Ten schools as well. So there's a direct correlation between work ethic in academics and work ethic on the golf course. There's also a correlation between the ability to grind on your schoolwork and grind on the golf course. It's not hard to figure out that the more effort you put in school can translate into a more sound mental attitude on the golf course. You know what I mean? Making good choices, being smart about what you practice each day. So all those things are important to us. And again, when you go and play collegiate golf, the University of Iowa is not an easy place to go to school, let alone put in the 20 hours that I have with them, plus the other 30 that they put in on their own, and then get good grades. And so we're very, very conscious of the grades that kids have. I mean, it's, if I'm going to show you a list of all of our recruits for this year, right there at the beginning is their GPA. And say it's a 4 out of a 4.5 scale, or it's a 3.5 out of 4 scale. We need to know that they're not going to struggle in school. We also need to know that they're an achiever. They want to achieve. That's the kind of kids I want. And then at the end of the day, if it comes down to 2 kids are pretty close, guess what the tiebreaker is?
Could be their grade point average?
Grades. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't it be? Because then I don't have to worry about that aspect. I know that they've been raised properly. We check their backgrounds. We check with their teachers. We check with their coaches. We check with their parents. This is a job that needs to be studied. And if you get 9 really good kids on your team, that's a really competitive team. And if they're all fighting for those academic awards, athletic awards, you're going to have a pretty good team. So, grades
Mark,
are important.
I want you to keep it up in every way, shape, and form that you're doing here. Thank you for the tour of the new Carver Arena.
Right.
It's fabulous going in there and seeing, getting the preparation for the 2012 Olympic trials in there.
Sure.
The facilities are phenomenal. And any kid that's considering playing at the University of Iowa, would you think that they need to step it up a grade?
Of course. I mean, the more tournaments you play, the commitment it takes. It's really just commitment to be the best in your area first. Be the best kid on your team first. Then look ahead. Be the best team in your area. Be the best team in your state. Be the best team at your university. Be the best team in the country, kid in the country. One of the things that we try to provide here at Iowa is every facility that we can, so that even teammates can outwork other teammates. Who wants to work the hardest, put in the most time, balance their life, enjoy their time, love golf, and in 4 years, hopefully you come out of here an All-American and an academic All-American, and maybe we've won a Big Ten championship. So that's my goal.
Well, that's fantastic. Last year, unbelievably, by some people's standards from the South looking up, you ranked as high as 9th in the country, and you finished the NCAAs. You were more than in the equivalent of the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
I believe you finished 10th in the nation last year.
Yep, 2 spots out of match play, which gives us that golden opportunity to go head-to-head with 7 other teams. 8 teams make match play at the end of 54 holes. And we would have been able to go head-to-head with the other best teams in the country to see who wins match play. And our team was very good at match play last year, so our chances were good had we got in those final 8. 2 shots short, didn't birdie the last hole, par 5, made 5 pars and went away quietly, but it was a great year for us. 5 tournament victories, Big Ten Player of the Year, 2 academic All-Americans, 5 all Big Ten academic kids. It couldn't have been much better, really. And then to come back this year And those two players that were so great for us, the two leaders on that team, graduated and are playing professionally, and to come back and be the top-ranked team in the Big Ten again this year shows a lot about the young kids that were following in their footsteps and taking notes and getting ready to go. So.
Well, thanks for the time you spent here with me today, and
Right.
thank you so much for encouraging the young people
Yep.
of Iowa
No doubt.
to take it up a notch.
Yep, without a doubt. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.